Hello and welcome to our fall semester's first Warrior webinars. If you had joined us previously in the summer, you might be wondering if is this the Wednesday Warrior webinar. So we actually rebranded, and so now we are just going with Warrior webinar. So thank you for all those of you that attended in the summer, and this is our new fall kickoff webinar. The topic of this webinar will be going over introductions. So just to introduce you to the whole team, who you'll be meeting with, who you'll be emailing, just to put a face to the emails and all the correspondence that you're having with the university. So I'll introduce myself after, because the whole topic is introducing ourselves. So let me just go into the agenda. So after this welcome address, we're going to go right into introductions. You're going to hear from each of the ACs, and you're going to hear, what territories we serve, who we would meet with, and then I'm going to go over what an admissions counselor does. What purpose do we serve, and what would you as a high school student need an admissions counselor for? And then I will briefly go over some UH Manoa quick facts, and then we'll have the rest of the time for a Q&A. So that is the general function for today. And then I mentioned earlier, but for everyone that have just joined, we will be doing Q&A. So if you've never attended a webinar before, if you hover either the top of your screen or the bottom of your screen, you'll see something like Q&A, participants. You can also see participants and chat and stuff. So go to the Q&A function and you'll see like text message little bubbles. Some people have already started asking some questions. So any questions that you have throughout the webinar, feel free to ask them there, and then we'll verbally answer them toward the end of the webinar. Okay. So I'll go ahead and start off with introduction. So my name is Connie Wilson. I'm an admissions counselor. So for territories, we all kind of share responsibilities throughout the world and the US. So I am a domestic territory. So I service students in the Northern Rockies, the Midwest, the Northeast, and then also little sprinkles of Alaska, Nevada, and Oklahoma. And then one random fact, just to kind of get to know me. When I make sandwiches, I need to put extra mayo in there, otherwise it's too dry for me to eat, and it's not an enjoyable experience for me. So that's me, and then let's hear from, I believe, Justin.
Okay, what's up, folks? Sorry about that. I was trying to look for the unmute button. Justin, I'm an admissions counselor and scholarship coordinator at the university. As far as my territories, predominantly they're on the West Coast, from Washington, Oregon, Colorado, Arizona. But I also do have some sprinkles of some states on the Southeast territories as well. And as a fun fact for me, I've graduated from college, at least for my undergraduate degree, more than 10 years ago now, and I still eat like a poor college student. For me, waffles, Nutella, ramen noodles is probably life for me. So yeah, my email address is indicated there, so feel free to email me if you are from those particular territories.
All right, aloha everyone. My name is Amber. I'm one of the admissions counselors as well. My territory is California, so I know we have a lot of California students here joining us today. I'm actually originally from California, and I've lived here in Hawaii for quite a few years now. So if you have questions about the transition and moving from California or the mainland in general to here in Hawaii, let me know. A fun random fact about myself is I used to work for Disney, and I was a Disney performer.
Hey, how's it, and aloha everyone. Thanks for joining us for our webinar. My name is Jose Magno. I am the Hawaii Regional for the Office of Admissions, which means I'm in charge of all the schools in the state of Hawaii, including all of the neighbor islands. So I'm not too sure where you guys are from. So if you are from a local high school from the neighbor islands, I will be your college rep that you will deal with. So definitely excited to work with you guys this upcoming year. Just a random fact, prior to COVID, I was able to travel to all 7 continents. So my last continent, I actually traveled to Antarctica this December. which was really good timing. All right, right on. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, really good timing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Moto. I'm the Regional Director for International Recruitment. That means that with the exclusion of North America and the state of Hawaii, I pretty much take care of the rest of the world. But for those of you who are international that are residing here in the United States, I would probably be the one that you'll be talking to initially, so that we can clarify your residency to identify what category you will be in. Please understand that the international student process is a little bit different from the domestic side, so it's important for you to understand what those differences are. And it's also a great time to apply to UH Manoa because we have many international scholarships that we will be able to extend to you. So welcome, and I look forward to working with all of you. Thanks.
Yay, thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. Oh, Moto, your fun fact.
Sorry about that. My random fun fact, when I'm tired, I usually cook exorbitant meals in the middle of the night to relieve stress and to relax. So my neighbors are always complaining. Thank you.
Yeah, when I cook, it's normally a stressful experience. So really, wow, Moto. Okay, so moving on to the next topics for the webinar. So what would you need an admissions counselors for as a high school student, or for the parents that are attending? What would your student, your child need an admissions counselor for? So if you have any questions about the application or the admissions process for college in general, or for specifically for UH Manoa for our school, if you already did your own like web research, so let's say you went to our admissions website, you looked around a bit, you read the information, or you were interested in, like, for example, marine biology, and you Googled UH Manoa Marine Biology Department, and then you did your research, but you have more questions that you couldn't get answered from your own web research, then definitely we're the people that you would want to reach out to. Also, so we don't just help with like recruiting students, we also help once you are accepted, we also counsel and help the students in figuring out, okay, you've been accepted, congratulations, what are your next steps and what do I have to do to make sure that I can actually go to your school in the fall or in the spring. Some things that we as admissions counselors for our UH Manoa admissions office, some things that we cannot help with are things like financial aid, academic advising, course selection, or making payments. So for questions regarding any of those topics, you would actually have to reach out to those specific departments. So Manoa does have its own financial aid office. It has academic advisors in every major and every college that the university is made up of. And those will be the individuals that are trained in helping you select classes based off of your major. So come the springtime, when everyone starts getting your admissions acceptances, you might be wondering, okay, what classes do I take? What do I need to graduate? We don't have the training or knowledge to answer those questions. That would be for an academic advisor. And then making payments and like tuition plan, anything financial aid related, you would have to ask either the UH cashier's office or the financial aid office. But we will be more than happy to refer you to those offices, but they do have their own websites and their own virtual desks as well. Okay, so now that you know what we do and what you would need us for, your next thought process might be, okay, so how do I make an appointment with you and how can I meet with you? Where are you guys located? So all of us here, we're all working from home. So we are not on campus for this semester. We're working from home and we're meeting with students virtually. So this actually kind of makes it a little bit easier. We're using this whole situation to our advantage. So previously, you know, we did not recruit in like New York or New Jersey. Like I wouldn't physically go there, but now because everything is virtual, I actually can schedule high school visits in New York or New Jersey or somewhere where we don't actively physically recruit. So that's a really good benefit. And then same with all the other counselors in their territories. We're able to have a more far-reaching kind of hand in servicing the students. So if you do want to meet with us, it will be one-on-one and it will be over Zoom like this, which you're already familiar. So we'll, if you want to either like take a picture or screenshot this, we can, but we'll also probably be putting this link in the Q&A section if that question does come up. But if you were to click on this link, you would be taken to a page that looks like this. This is our Meet Your Recruiter page. And so you would scroll down, you would see our Associate Director, Abigail, who is our supervisor, and then in alpha order, you will see all of our pictures. And if you forget, which counselor is your Mānoa counselor, you can read our territories here. So for example, if you want to make an appointment with Moto, then you would click on Schedule Appointment. If you click on that, it will pop up a calendar and it will show all of Moto's availabilities, and then you can just click on it, select a time, and you would just do a quick registration with like your name, email address, number, high school, your address, academic interest. Very simple, takes 2 seconds to sign up, and then you'll be sent a confirmation email. That confirmation email will contain your itinerary page. So exactly how, excuse me, exactly how you found the Zoom link for this webinar, you would go to your itinerary page and then click join when it is time to join the meeting. So for all of you that have joined the webinar, congratulations, you figured it out, you know how to meet with us. So just do the same steps when you're making an appointment with us. Okay. All right, so then briefly, we're gonna go over fast facts about UH Mānoa. I'm looking at the Q&A and I see a lot of information or a lot of questions about are we test optional, different admissions decision questions, and out-of-state students. So we will get to those questions now. This is our fast facts one sheet. So just to go over freshman admissions requirements. So we are going test optional this semester. I'm sorry, for fall 2021, we are going test optional. So if you do have test scores from previous years, that is great. That will only help and it will only strengthen your application. But if you do not have test scores, it will not hinder or it will not weaken your application because it's not required. So that's something that you don't have to worry about. Some states are not even offering them. So I just met with a couple of Midwest students and they said in their states they're actually being offered, but in a couple of other states it's constantly being canceled again, or they're just not offered. So we recognize that it's not easy access for everyone. So that's something that you don't have to worry about. If you're not able to take the test and you're wanting to matriculate into fall 2021, then you don't have anything to worry about. We are going with a more holistic approach. So if you have a competitive or a strong GPA, then you are in good hands. We do recommend that you also submit some supplemental documents such as a letter of recommendation, a personal statement on why you want to come to Manoa, or some other kind of college-related topic that you can choose, because we're not requiring it. There is no prompt. Just however you want to show yourself in a good light to UH Manoa to make us think that you are ready for college and that you would succeed and thrive at Manoa. And then in terms of what classes you would need to get in, our requirements for freshmen, course requirements, they follow the typical high school curriculum. So as long as you are following your high school curriculum, it will most likely fulfill it. If you do have questions, you can refer to the sheet or our view book or catalog or our website. It's located in many, many different places. So you would need 4 units or 4 years of English, 3 of math, 3 of science, like a lab kind of science, and we do recommend taking biology, chemistry, and physics, and especially if you're going into a STEM-related field, that would be really helpful because you do need to take a chem placement exam later, and that will help you if you have taken that in high school. 3 units and 3 years of social science. We get a lot of questions about this other college prep and electives and what these are. So basically, any kind of class that you're still learning, you're still stimulating your brain, if it's a specific college prep course, for example, foreign language would be counted. It's not required, but if you are taking it, it would count toward other college prep. If your school has any kind of like career or career field related classes, such as like health sciences. I know growing up in Oahu, a lot of high schools had HOSA, which is a club, but it also had some kind of core pathway. So you would take 3 health science classes in succession, and then at graduation, you would get a cord to wear at graduation. So a lot of high schools participate in that. So if you have that in your high school, that's another example of something that you either considered other college prep or electives. We just want to see basically that you're still stimulating your brain, you're still learning, and you're not just like taking free classes or something, so that you are ready for the rigor of college. And then so that's it for our admissions requirements this year. It's pretty straight to the point, and we are doing a more holistic view. There might be a couple questions out there. What if I don't have a competitive GPA, or what does a competitive GPA mean? So I will answer that by giving you a statistic. So for our incoming class, the average GPA is around 3.5. So if you are around 3.5, that would be considered competitive. If you are a bit under, then we would just recommend you submitting, letter recommendation, personal essay, turning in those supplemental documents. And then some other questions about demographics about the school that you might have. So we are a Research One institution, and we have been given Land, Sea, Sun, and Space grant. So basically we receive federal money to do research in these areas. For our student demographics, we are pretty diverse. We're actually ranked the 6th most ethnically diverse university in the US. We do have about 2/3 of our population coming from in-state. So that might be from Oahu, that might be from Big Island or Hawai'i Island, that might be from Kauai. We have different islands that make up the state of Hawaii. And then about 1/3 comes from the continental US. I think a lot of you are from California, actually, or the West Coast, and we'll get into what WUI means, but we do have a big population coming from West Coast, but we also do have good handfuls of like Midwest students, New England states coming in. So we do have representation over, the whole US. And then we do have a really strong international rate. So we're at almost 7% international. And in that, you can actually see there's over 140 different countries represented on campus, and that can be from students and faculty and professors as well. So really good, diverse, really welcoming kind of feel that our campus has. Our total enrollment is just under 18,000. Our undergraduate is about 13,000, and then the remainder is graduate as well. In terms of programs, we have a lot of different programs. While we are really well known for our land, sea, space, sun, anything that has to do with those fields, we are really reputable and known for, but we're also really well known for like our business program, for our arts program and theatrical programs as well. So we, from A to Z, we have about 104 different bachelor's programs for you. And if you're thinking about something in the future for graduate school, we do offer those as well. Okay, so now we're going to talk about cost. So for 12 credits of tuition, that's that first line, you can see a breakdown of resident, WUI, which stands for Western Undergraduate Exchange, and then non-resident. So some students actually have never heard of WUI, or what Western Undergraduate Exchange. So just briefly what that goes over, if you are west of the Rockies, so from Texas up and then to the West Coast, if you are in one of those states, you qualify for a discounted tuition rate. Because we are one of the schools that partner in this Western Undergraduate Exchange program. So any local students here, if you wanted to go to, for example, a school in California, definitely make sure and double check if they are a school that participates in the WUI, because they will have something like this where you will have a discounted tuition rate because it's a partnership between all of those states. So for our school, we don't have any stipulations or requirements for it. You just have to be from that state and apply, check off a box on your application, and then you have this discounted tuition. University fees are for the year. Books and supplies will vary. The depending on your major. The room and board is for freshmen student housing, and this includes the most expensive meal plan. I believe this can range from about $12,000 to this number that you see, $13,600. So that also can range. Personal expenses, about $3,000 on pizza, seems like a lot, but some people like to consider maybe flight prices in this, so that can all vary. So I would just kind of, you know, take this yearly number with a grain of salt, because it can definitely go down. This is an overestimation, just to make sure that you have enough funds that you can budget accordingly for the school. So now that you know a little bit about our university, you might be wondering about admissions timeline. So our application opened in September, so it's open now if you want to apply. The priority deadline is January 5, and then the final deadline is March 1st. So if you want to, you know, increase your chances of getting a good financial aid package by filling out your FAFSA and being ahead of the scholarship deadlines, then you would want to definitely apply before the priority deadline of January 5th. So that is my advice to you. Okay, so that was just a brief overview of UH Manoa and our quick facts. So we'll go into the Q&A now. So I'm going to go into the first question, and then we can just go down the line and read them off. So because in my square I see, so it's me, then Moto, then Justin, Amber, Jose. So if we can go in that order. So after me, Moto will read off, and then Justin, and then Amber, and then Jose, and then we'll just rotate like that. So Isabella asked, are SAT scores optional? Yes, they are optional for this coming fall.
Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. So is the second one, wait, hold on. Okay, Connie, which one is the second one? Or are there any activities to?
Oh, yes.
Okay, absolutely. Location. We are truly in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Not only we offer tools for the academic life of all of you that will be coming here, but we also have a very proactive natural life. We are known for our marine sports, of course. For those of you that are into trekking or into hiking or would like to, they are readily available. On campus, we do have over 250 organizations. So anything from Pokemon to Justin Bieber, you will find other people that are passionate about what you enjoy. So I encourage all of you to find others that share the same passion as you. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Moto. So the next question we have is, does it affect your admissions decision if we apply through the freshman web application versus the Manoa preferred application? So I know I've been getting that question a lot. It really doesn't make much of a difference. Basically, if you receive the Manoa preferred application, it's just a shorter application. It's just a little bit quicker to fill out. So if you do have that already, go ahead and make sure to fill out that one. If you've already started your regular freshman application, just go ahead and complete that one. So either one is good, and we do recommend turning it in sooner than later.
Okay, next question from Yasmin. Is there any specific information for out-of-state students that are applying? For us, admissions office, as far as admissions requirements and things of that goes, we evaluate both Hawaii State residents and out-of-state students exactly the same. But if you're looking at resources to get to know campus, to see what students are like, what they're involved in, perhaps maybe like a virtual video, the admissions office has a virtual tab on our admissions homepage that you can briefly take a look at. There's going to be different web resources, electronic brochures, and all of which can give you a better picture of what it's like to be a student on campus and what the academics is like, what the extracurriculars are like. So I would probably start there first. And if you really have additional questions, just schedule an appointment with your admissions counselor depending on your territory, and we'd be happy to try and address additional questions along the way.
I think I'm going to hand over this next question to Justin since he's our scholarship coordinator, and I'll take the question after that.
Oh, I'm sure. Give it to me. Okay, as far as scholarships go, yes, the Office of Admissions, the university does have different scholarships available to students. I can tell you right now that some administrators are still finalizing details, especially for the Office of Admissions scholarships. So to answer your first question, yes, we do have them. No, some of the details have not been finalized yet. They're scheduled to be completed by early October. So all the websites should be available by early to mid-October. I would first start by just typing into Google or any kind of web search browser, just Mānoa scholarships. It should be the first link, and it should give you an entire list of scholarships. Keep in mind that when you do apply to the university, once you apply, you will be receiving communication along the way to update you about scholarship deadlines, requirements, application processes. So if you do apply, we will update you along the way. If you don't apply, and you're just kind of on the fence right now, thinking about your different options, just search for it on Google. All the websites should be updated by early to mid-October.
Since you answered that one so eloquently, maybe you should take the next one as well. I'm just Okay, next question from Lily. Please describe the dorms for freshmen and meal plans. Okay, so in terms of residence halls, as an incoming freshman, you most likely will be placed in our complex called the Halealoha complex, which is our 4 freshman towers. They're named for 4 of our most populated islands. So there are 12 floors in each tower, and on each floor, I believe there are, I think, 22 occupants. So it is co-ed, which means you will have both genders on your floor, but within your room, your roommate is going to be the same gender. So it's a really unique type of living situation because most student housing areas in college campuses are either square or rectangular. Our towers are actually cylindrical, so your floor is a giant donut, and your room's kind of like a pie shape. So you can walk around in a circle, you get to know everybody on your floor really well. On the top floor, you have every other floor is like a study lounge, has a study lounge so you can hang out. And on the top floor, there's a community kitchen, a community kind of living room area with your washer and dryers and your laundry facilities. So for your first year, because you don't have the option of actually cooking within your own unit, you actually are required to get a meal plan. And the meal plan is going to be dependent on your preference, how much you eat, whether or not you plan to utilize all of your meals. So there's a listing of the type of meal plans we do provide on the Sodexo website. But the one thing to note for student housing is within the cafeterias. So we have Gateway Cafeteria and the Halealoha Cafeteria. Everything is buffet style. So if you guys have heard of the Freshman 15, that is not actually, that is incorrect. It's more like the potential to get freshman 40 or 50. So just make sure to utilize the Warrior Recreation Center because you will gain a lot of weight as an incoming college student because there's a lot of food everywhere. Okay, that's all I have.
And then I think it's Amber.
Let's see. So I've got a question asking about the virtual learning and their dorms and how they're being accommodated. So that's one of the great things. I know many of you guys may have heard about a lot of mainland schools inviting the students in. They're going to do in-person learning, and then all of a sudden a week later they're like, just kidding, see you all later, and they sent all their students home, which is kind of stressful. For us, we still absolutely invited our students in. We are doing 90% online, 10% in person. But students, even with the current COVID situation, they are still allowed to be in their residence halls where we would never just kind of ask the students to leave, especially since we know so many students do come from the mainland. There's definitely a lot of different learning for it. Most of the things are on Zoom. A lot of the professors do virtual office hours. We've done virtual student meetups, different hangouts virtually. So there's a lot going on with the best that we can do during this COVID situation.
Nice, thank you. Okay, so
Okay.
a question. Oh,
Go ahead.
even if the personal statement is optional, is it still recommended? Does it make your chances higher of being accepted? So yes, so the personal statement is, it's not required. It will not be on the application. So if you do want to submit, you would have to email us. And on the last slide, we have our email address. So you can email it to us and then we'll add it to you. But yes, if you submit that, it will only help strengthen your application. So we recommend it. Oh, Moto, sorry, you're muted.
Can somebody take this particular question?
What are the 5 professional programs?
Yeah, pre-professional. I know pre-law, pre-vet.
And there's med school,
The
Jeff.
med school, yes.
Yeah, I have the list right here if you guys want me to read it. So
Okay.
we actually have more than 5. We have quite a bit. It's 5 main categories, but we have audiology, clinical psychology, dentistry, dietetics, interdisciplinary studies, law, medicine, occupational therapy, optometry, pharmacy, physical therapy, physician assistant, one I can't pronounce properly, I apologize, public health and veterinary science. You ever think of your resources?
Oh yes, thank you. I don't have mine on there.
There's a lot of, definitely a lot of programs for that.
Ani, should I take this one?
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay. How many letters of recommendation do we need? Well, I think the most important factor of you applying to a university is to get accepted and to be acknowledged for as many scholarships that you're eligible for. Therefore, for letters of recommendation, I would say 1 or 2. Please don't send 10 because we may not have the time to read all of them. What is important is for the who you ask the letter of recommendation to be written on your behalf. I think teachers, especially in the math and science fields, who know you and who can attest for you that you are a good student, who also can reflect on your studying habits, your discipline, how you socialize, are all important factors that should be included in a letter of recommendation. So I would say 1 or 2 will be appropriate. Thanks.
Okay, next question. Do you guys offer a pre-law major? So we don't offer a standalone pre-law major. We do offer pre-law focuses. So for instance, if you wanted to major in psychology or political science, both of which are pretty popular for going into law school, you can have a focus within pre-law. And that'll help give you like an advantage to applying for law school as soon as you graduate, because you'll have a set number of criteria or knowledge going into the application process for law school. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, we don't have a pre-law specific major, but there is focuses within pre-law that you can select.
Okay, next question. Is the Schuyler Direct Admit program very competitive? Would you need SAT or ACT scores to be considered for the program? So basically for the Schuyler Direct Admit program, if you specify one of the business focuses, pre-business, exploratory business on your application, we will send over your application to Schuyler and they will formulate their direct entry cohort of roughly about 70 to 80 students. So you don't have to do a separate application if you indicate business as your major or one of the focuses within Schuyler. Your application will be automatically sent. They're looking for a 3.5 high school GPA, so the higher the better. And because of COVID, they are not requiring SAT or ACTs, but if you do have those, they highly encourage you submit those items. There are 2 essay prompts that you have to complete. The first being is, why do you want to be part of the Schroeder direct entry program. And I think the second one would be why you want to major in business. So they will send you, if you do apply, if you do indicate business as one of your majors, they'll send you the information if they're requiring you to provide an essay and so forth. So it is competitive, but if you have a pretty good GPA, I don't foresee that being a problem getting admitted to the program.
I see the next question we have is asking about the dental program for high school grads in Hawaii. So it can really be for anyone. You just have to make sure you meet their minimum requirements. They do have a limited amount of spots each year. But if you have questions about the requirements, how to transfer into it as well, definitely make sure to contact our dental hygiene and nursing program.
Would I be able to ask you, Moto, to take the next one? I'm going to start answering some questions, typing them for sake.
Okay, students, I do have another high school visit, but nice meeting you all. Have a great school year. Stay safe and healthy. Aloha.
Thank you, Jose.
Okay, so does being in the Hawaii affect the amount of scholarships we can get from university? Absolutely not. You are eligible to qualify for as many scholarships. There are several exceptions where you cannot get two substantial scholarships concurrently, but I think lessening your financial burden to college is very important, not only for you, but for your parents. So please look at the lists of scholarships that we have available to all of you, whether you're domestic or international. It will be worth your while because here at the University of Hawaii Manoa, we have what we call a stacking system. Just because you get one does not disqualify you from getting others. So take the time to submit your application. Some of them do require essays. So draft it, polish it, have other people read it before submitting it. And that will only improve your chances of getting more scholarships. Thank you.
Is this one me? I think so. Okay. I'm in my first semester at community college. I took dual enrollment in high school. So by December, I have 24 credits. Can I apply in September or wait till January for the fall semester? You can elect to do either, to be honest with you. Our application priority deadline isn't until January 5th. Absolute latest deadline is March 1st. If you wanted to turn in your application now, you're more than welcome to. And it's actually highly encouraged because the earlier you turn it in, the earlier you get your acceptance, the earlier you can apply for financial aid, scholarships, student housing, and things like that. Also to keep in mind, if you apply a lot earlier, your application will be processed, I would say, between 3 to 4 weeks, maybe even 2 weeks sometimes if you're thinking extremely aggressively. But if you're turning it in by the deadline or right around the deadline, it's going to take up to 8 weeks to process. I'm going to be completely honest. So I don't encourage waiting until the deadline because then you're going to sit around for 2 months just kind of waiting, right? So then you're going to have to email the office asking for an admission status update. You're going to get a response back saying, hey, wait a few more weeks. So don't wait till the deadline. Just turn it in early and then get it over with. And then that way you can move on with the rest of your semester and the rest of your academic year. So earlier the better.
All right. So I see there's a big question about how competitive admission is to the school. One thing I always want to stress is that I know, especially since we have so many California students here today, is we don't have any impacted majors. So I know a lot of students constantly are asking me, hey, if I apply with this major, do I have a higher chance of getting in? So we're not like the UCs, we're not like the Cal States. You can pretty much apply to any major. Admissions is going to be the same regardless. But definitely keep in mind that nursing is slightly different for that, and then dental hygiene, but other than that, as long as you meet our minimums, then you're pretty much good.
Okay, the next one. Is there required application? Oops. Is there a required application essay? I already applied, but never got an essay prompt, which is worrying me a little. Thank you. I am assuming that you are referring to the self-mission statement or personal statement about yourself. You are welcome to, there is a prompt actually, a box where you can fill in and also upload a essay that you required. But if you miss that, you are welcome to send it separately. Whenever you do apply online, you are assigned a specific student number. So it would be prudent for you to include that number along with your name for any future communication that you forward to the Office of Admissions so that we do not make any mistakes. We are very thorough about making sure that all your paperwork goes into the right file, but help us out a little bit by adding that number. So yes, absolutely. You will be able to, because you already submitted your online application, go ahead and submit it again. And we will, when I say submit it again, your essay separately. And we will go ahead and attach it to your file. Thank you.
Okay, next question. Is there an application fee waiver? Yes, our Office of Admissions does waive application fees. Typically, it's only for students if you qualify for a federal free and reduced lunch, if you qualify for a College Board waiver or a NACAC waiver. However, if you have a special circumstance like a family emergency or a financial obligation or loss of job or any other circumstance or medical reasons, we kindly ask if you can just send us an email, and us meaning the Office of Admissions. If you just send us an email, just write out a brief description and what you're requesting for. We'll send it over to our admissions committee and they'll review it for you. And as far as where to send it to, admissions office email is just going to be manoa.admissions@hawaii.edu. So just let us know your name, your situation that you're going through, and what you're requesting for. Just provide us with additional details. If you have like supplemental documents, let's say if you have a medical reason and you have a letter from your doctor, all of those things will definitely help your case. So anything additional, we highly encourage. So yes, we do waive application fees. Just email us for that.
Alrighty, thank you. So we're out of time actually, and I know that we do still have a few questions. A lot were kind of repeating, so for those of you that your questions were not answered, we do have an email address, so let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. So this is our main page. You can get a lot of information on this page. Oh, I don't think it's showing. Okay, so this is, there we go. This is our main admissions page, so a lot of information on there. If you do have follow-up questions, you can email the main admissions line and it'll get routed to each of the counselors as it relates to the region. Or if you've wrote down each of our emails, you can email us directly that way too. So definitely we can still answer your questions, but we're just out of time for now. Before we end the webinar, I do want to kind of advertise that in 2 days, we do have another webinar, and that will go over application tips and a walkthrough and a demonstration about our application. So if you have any questions about the application itself or the timeline or tips, anything like that, please register. The same link that you used to register for this, it would take you to the same place. So that one is on the 29th, and it'll be at the same time. It'll be 11 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And then we do have webinars throughout, the whole semester until December. So feel free to look at our calendar and start getting registered for those webinars. Thank you so much for our ACs for joining in and helping answer questions and introducing yourself. Thank you, Stacy, for helping to coordinate. Stacy is our events coordinator. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Feel free to log off or leave the webinar because we are done, unless you wanted to take a picture of our email address or our website. So if not, you don't have any more questions, feel free to leave. Thank you so much, guys.
Aloha.